I certainly am.
What time is it? What time is it?
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, you can ask questions through the portal, the chat. And if you want to call and ask us some questions, you're out of luck because Blog Talk is down yet again. This wart on society called Blog Talk is out again. We called and we're having a problem with our system. We can't do anything. You'll have to try back later. I'm done. I hate it. I hate Blog Talk. I hate it. You need to call the legal team and you need to try to figure this out.
Yeah, we got to figure something out, man. Because it ain't
call
the
the legal team.
This is not the same show when Ringside Reporter is not allowed to call in, man. It's horrible, man.
Listen, it's a Robbie-free Sunday today.
I almost want to put him on the speakerphone, but you would never allow it.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I love it. I'm starting to bond with Robbie a little bit, man. I've been talking to him on the phone a little bit more lately than normal.
Is that right?
Yeah. Strictly platonic, of course. I mean, I still have Lois on the side. So.
You still have Lois on the side to talk to? What's the matter with you? What is the matter with you? And you guys, if you guys are out there, go ahead and hit the like button if you guys are going to enjoy our content, which we know you will enjoy. So you might as well go ahead and hit it now. You know what I mean? Yeah, Robert just texted me. You're not going to take phone call. You're not going to be allowed to take phone calls today. Blog Talk is not working.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. After I just wanted a big diatribe about it, he tells me, "Oh, by the way, Blog Talk's not working." I know. Don't you think I know this? I'm sorry, but look, don't you think I know this, that Blog Talk is down? You think it's a surprise to me that Blog Talk is down? You think I'm sitting here shocked, like I'm trying to get calls and I can't get them because Blog Talk is down? I knew this like 6 hours ago.
So, Robbie, any questions you have from either myself or Eric, feel free to text me. I'll answer them for you, man.
And then I got a bone to pick with you too, Beeb. I got to be honest here. And because I'm not in a great mood. And what is going on with the titles of the show? Josh Taylor robbed by judges. Catterall gets a decision.
That is your title. That is your title. Don't throw me under the bus.
Come on.
It states clearly in my contract that I have no creative control over these titles.
No creative control.
I'm a Johnny come lately. I'm a Johnny come lately to this show.
You really think Josh Taylor got robbed? You thought Bob Arum was right.
That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Robbie, I wouldn't even be here. He brought me into the fray. I never knew that we were going to evolve into titles like this for the shows.
Evolve into titles like this?
It was never like this until you got all clickbaity on me.
Devolve into devolve into titles like this, if that's a word. I don't know. That sounds better though.
Well, however you want to put it, devolve or evolve. This is it is some type of process that
I don't know why. Why do you? I don't understand your whole thing with the titles though. Like, why do you put titles out and like trick people like that? That's crazy.
116 to 112 for Jack Catterall.
Listen. Don't try to defend your actions. Don't try to defend your actions. Don't deflect. Don't deflect.
With human resources tomorrow. I am being harassed, misrepresented in every way, shape, form, or fashion. I will not stand for this.
Well, while you're talking to Beeb's legal team, why don't you tell them about Blog Talk as well, all right? All right, let's get to it. On DAZN and ESPN Plus, I saw it on ESPN. You said DAZN was over across the pond.
Correct.
Okay, I gotcha. So Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor. Jack Catterall wins this time over Josh Taylor, 117, 111 twice, and 116, 113. It was a unanimous decision. I got to be honest here. I thought Catterall won the fight. He fought great. He looked really good. He was able to hit. I tell you, he's got those sneaky counters, Beeb. it's almost like he pulls you in, lulls you to sleep, and just tags you. And it is, man. It's one of those things. He's gifted. He's such a good counter puncher. And the thing is, man, like I thought he fought effectively. He countered effectively. He landed the cleaner shots overall. Taylor, like to me, he was a little bit too over anxious. What was it? When was the shot where he caught him with that left hand and really buzzed him? Was that the 9th or the 11th, maybe?
I think it was the 9th. Yeah, 9th round.
And Catterall hit him. And I tell you, that shot,
buckled
that
him.
shot should have put him away, man. That
Yeah,
was a hard shot. That was right on the button, and it was a perfect counter left. And I don't think Taylor saw it. I'll be honest. I don't think Taylor saw it, but he took it pretty well. I mean, all things considering, because that was a heavy punch, man.
Yeah,
he looked a little bit just too over anxious to me, man. I think I'll be honest, man. I think a lot of the pre-fights, and he spent literally 2 years chasing this guy down.
Yeah,
on a fight he won.
Yeah,
it's a fight he won. He won that first fight. I thought he clearly won that first fight.
I thought Catterall edged the first fight myself.
Yeah, and a lot of people did. But I thought that Taylor clearly had that one, man. I thought it was like a 8-4 fight.
You had the same scorecard as Andre Ward. You and Andre Ward had the same scorecard because he scored it for Taylor as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, and like I said, different people see different things. And it's just, it was what I liked about the first fight. He was more aggressive. He was, to me, kind of dictating the fight and everything like that. But in the second one, man, he, it just looked over anxious, and it almost like he's been almost like a vision quest with this thing. He's been chasing this guy for 2 years. He knows, I think maybe in his heart, he thinks he lost that first fight, or maybe he wants to prove something because there's no other reason to fight this guy.
The press and all the boxing pundits and all the boxing media members, they were slaughtering him, and everybody was saying to him, he lost. Even he went on Talk Sport, and Simon Jordan told him to his face, I think you lost the fight. Yeah. And
and that doesn't sit well with a prideful guy, I mean, all these guys got big egos, you have to be at this level.
Correct.
And
you mentioned something, and I'll give you my opinion on what you said and why I believe that you're correct in that, but why also I believe that happened. You said he was over anxious, and yeah, probably, but you know why? Because when your timing isn't what it used to be, I think he lost a step in his timing. I think he lost a step speed wise. So because of that, you almost have to try harder, and by trying harder, sometimes you become a little over anxious, right? Because you're antsy, right? Because you're saying to yourself,
"Yeah,
I'm not comfortable in here," because things that used to be fluid are no longer fluid. Things that used to be effortless are no longer effortless, right? So because of that, you have to try harder, and in the process of trying harder, sometimes you overreach, you overexert, you can possibly even telegraph, I do think Bradley made one good point, and I'll have to say one of his rare good points in this broadcast, because he was horrible. I love Bradley as a fighter. I even think he's a nice guy.
I didn't like him as a fighter. Yeah, I didn't like him as a fighter.
You're very anti-Bradley. That's not right. But anyways, I just think his commentary is horrible, man. I think
it really is. I mean, he really adds nothing to the broadcast.
Yeah, but the one good thing he did make was Taylor's only safe spot here, where he has the best chance of being able to get his offense off and be successful with his offense, is in the mid-range. But with that being said, Catterall is still very capable, and he can handle himself and hang in there in the mid-range, which he most certainly did in this fight. But the big difference is when there was space. Catterall was popping that jab in his face at will, and he could not stop it. So he was always one step ahead with the jab. He was always more effective. The most effective he was when he was on the outside, being able to pick and pot shot from the outside. And his counter punching was, like as you said, was very, very good in this fight. Taylor had a good 7 and 8, and I also think he had a good 10. But I still think that the amount of early rounds that Catterall had banked, and how he finished the fight strong in the 11th and 12th, because he was landing some really short, crisp, mid-range overhand looping lefts in there up close, kind of those chopping left hands that were like, and that chopping left hand was the one that actually hurt Taylor in the 9th, right? That's the one that buckled him because he kind of just turned it over and just a little short, choppy over the top type punch. So, I mean, I had it 116 and 112. I gave Catterall 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. I gave him round 9, and I gave him 11 and 12 as well. Now, you can argue that maybe 9 could have been even. I don't know. It depends on you know how you want to assess that. But even if you give that round even, I mean, it's like 116 and 113. And the discussion I had on Twitter with people, because people just want to argue for the sake of arguing. And some of these discussions that I have with people on Twitter, I don't even know why I even waste my brain cells on these topics. But does it really matter if the fight was 115 and 113, 116 and 113?
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Most people
right.
scored the fight 116 and 112. Okay.
Did you have the same guy winning? You scored it closer. Did you have the same guy winning? And then if you had the same guy winning, shut up.
And then we hear this.
It's the same thing, ultimately.
And then we hear people say this all the time. Oh, this was an easy fight to score. But then everyone has different rounds that they gave each fighter. Right. So how is it an easy fight to score if we all have different rounds that we gave each fighter? Now, some fights are easy to score, like Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. Everyone was pretty much in agreement that David Benavidez clearly won rounds 7 through 12.
Sure.
It should be, certain fights that are one-sided, obviously they're easy to score. Competitive fights aren't always easy to score. All right. So again, people want to get in these debates about rounds and scorecards, and they always point to how incompetent the judges are. But it's like this. It's like that guy that talks about women all the time. Oh, women suck, women suck, women suck. I can't find a good woman. Every girl I meet, there's a problem with that girl. No, maybe it's you. So maybe it's not always all like the judges suck. Maybe it's just you're not as good of a scorer as you think you are. Well, maybe you're not the be all end all on how to score a fight. When I hear people say, oh, this guy won by 3 or 4 rounds, you can't win a fight by 3 rounds. It's the 12-round fight. 7-5, 8-4, 9-3. You can't win by 3 rounds. You have to win by an even number. So again, like people just say things and they don't make sense what they say. Oh, I didn't really score it, but I felt like this guy won because of this, that, and the third. The judges don't have that luxury. They can't write down on their fucking scorecard, right? I felt that this guy, I just had a feeling this guy won and not score each individual round. So this whole thing about we live in this society where everyone wants a participation trophy, like it's going to mean anything more that you won 5 rounds or 4 rounds instead of 3 or whatever.
You lost.
That's like me going me going to work on Tuesday and my boss says, Mr. Reed, can you come in the office for a little bit? I mean, we set these goals for you. You came so close to meeting them, right? But you're just consistently not meeting them. You're coming this close every time, but you're not meeting them. We're going to have to let you go, right? Would it make any difference if I went in that office and he said this to me, Mr. Habib, you're way off. You can't do this job. We got to let you go. Either way, I'm still not meeting the goal and I got to get fired. So does it make me feel any better that I almost got there? No, because I didn't achieve it.
Well, and the people that were like complaining about this, again, I haven't heard anybody say that Taylor won this fight.
No.
And I didn't score it. I came into the last 4 rounds, saw the end of it. I saw the rest of it today. So I didn't want to score it because I already knew the outcome. So I just felt it would be a little biased if I did. But just watching the fight, I can look at it and say, yeah, Catterall definitely won that fight. I don't think there was too much of a question.
And again, some of these judges do come up with some crazy scorecards. But we're finding after every fight, people are crying about the scorecards.
Yeah.
In fights that are competitive, in fights that have swing rounds. And because they don't get the scorecard that they want, because the judges' scorecards don't match what they want. And here's the thing. If the fighter you picked won, or the fighter you like won and you support that fighter, isn't it good enough that he won, that he just won? Why does that fighter have to dominate? Oh, this was an easy fight. He killed him.
12-0.
12, like, what difference does it make? If the guy wins the fight, he wins the fight. Why do you feel the need to have it be enhanced in some way? I don't understand it.
Well, and Bob Arum after this went nuts. He just went
hilarious.
nuclear.
I don't care that he did that because he's hilarious.
This one of the advantages of being 90 years old, man. I mean, you could just go out there and say whatever and nobody cares. You know, took to the mic, said he would not let an American fighter come to the UK and fight. He basically said it was a robbery. Come on, man. I mean, to me, it was fairly. And Eddie Hearn said maybe the scores would have been a little closer, but the right guy won. I don't know that the scores should have been any closer, man.
I mean, most people.
You and I seem like we saw the same fight.
Most people saw the fight 116 and 112. Okay. The judges were one round off of everybody else, the majority of the people's scorecard. Is that such a travesty?
Right.
I mean, big fucking deal. Who cares?
Iceman says, I think Bob was the only one saying. I think Bob and Josh Taylor's team might have been the only one saying it. I mean, for real. You know, and listen, he's in the moment. I get it. Yeah, you know, you will have an American come there. It will happen under the British Boxing Board and all that.
Now, again, is there a lot of times a subconscious bias towards the A-side fighter when it comes to scoring? Do they sometimes get the benefit of doubt in close rounds?
Here's what I don't understand.
People are human, but again, it's like it's not as pronounced and consistent as everyone. Like Usyk was not like the big name in that fight, and he still got the decision. Catterall was not really the big name in this.
They were fighting in Saudi, but they were fighting in Saudi, and neither one of those guys are from Saudi, so it doesn't matter.
And those judges were from the U.S. They were from Canada. They were from Spain.
Okay, so then they were all neutral.
They're not worried about getting
neutral.
Saudi again. They can go judge anywhere. They don't have to worry about I better score it the way Saudi wants me to, or I'm never going to be invited back here again. Gives a fuck.
Cares?
Just go back and judge fights in the U.S. or Canada, wherever the fuck they came from. They don't have to worry about. Again, was there a subconscious bias towards Fury in the close rounds? I don't know. I mean, again, it is what it is. If you thought that Usyk won 8 rounds to 4, I'm not going to argue with you. If you thought it was 6-6, I'm not going to argue with you. If you thought it was 7-5, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't really fucking care. The right guy won the fight.
If you had Tyson Fury winning, I think an argument can ensue because he didn't win that fight.
No.
And it wasn't close enough to justify him getting the nod on a scorecard. It just wasn't.
But the fact that, you know, people have to say, oh, well, this fight wasn't competitive, this fight wasn't close, just to kind of enhance Usyk's victory. You don't need to enhance Usyk's victory. He did something that hasn't been done for 25 years, and he fought a beautiful, phenomenal fight. Just why isn't that enough? Why does it have to be, oh, well, this fight wasn't even close. This fight was, you know, this, that, and the third, whatever. I don't care about the scorecards, man. As long as the right guy wins, the right guy wins. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And he did. I mean, I thought Catterall won the fight. I thought he won it convincingly. I didn't think there was any room for interpretation or anything like that. So when he got on the mic and said that, I think there was a lot of sour grapes, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and again, he's going to be biased towards his fighter, but
sure.
It is what it is. What are you going to do?
After the fight, Josh Taylor stated that he wanted a rematch. I mean, let's be honest here, man. I don't think that we need to see this rematch.
I just don't like Josh Taylor at 140 pounds. I thought at the weight he looked emaciated. He looked dry. He's a big, tall, big, long guy.
I don't think him going to 147 is going to help him. I think mentally he's just not the same fighter.
Yeah, he's some guys just they peak and they get to a certain point in their careers.
I think he has all the tools, though. I mean, I still think he has the tools. I think he has his reflexes are there. I think it's still you take that ring rust away, and I think he's still the same guy. Well, but I don't think mentally he's the same guy.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And I think it started with that first Catterall fight. I really do.
Because same thing with Bradley. When Bradley had to deal with all that stuff after he beat Pacquiao,
He didn't beat Pacquiao.
all the death threats and all the stuff that he got. And Josh Taylor was saying that his family was being harassed online as well too. So people suck.
HLD is saying, is Taylor past his prime? I physically, no. I don't think physically he's past his prime. But again, man, I think that he's at a mental. I think mentally he's not been the same fighter since that first Catterall fight.
But think about,
I think that really, for him to chase him for 2 years, and that's the only fight he wanted. He's lost to Teofimo in that time. I think mentally he's just not checked in. I just do. But that's because, to me, when you look at him, he seems to have all the tools, everything there. He's not mentally checked in anymore.
But here's the thing, Eric, because I've had conversations with people like Maestro about this, and I think even D-Style, because they're saying like, oh, if he goes up to 147, those guys will kill him. But all of the killers are going up to 154. You got Spence, you got Virgil Ortiz, you got Crawford.
Who's up there, yeah.
All these guys went up to 154. So this 147-pound division, I believe, will be wide open for him. Like him versus Stanionis, that would be a very winnable fight for him. Him versus Conor Benn, him versus some of the other guys.
He needs a couple pickup fights. I think he needs a couple pickup fights. I really do. I think he needs a get back fight, and then he can go for a title at 147 or whatever he needs to do. And they can make that happen fairly easily. You know what I mean? Because he's still a world-class fighter. Yeah. And he's got to get that confidence back, though. And that's what he's missing.
Correct. And I don't think Boots is going to stay at 147 that much longer. There's not really any big fights down there for him. And he's a big guy that's busting out at the seams as well. So he'll be up at 154 in no time as well. So this division will be wide open for Taylor.
Yeah. Nando Yama, since we're going to address that right now.
I like the fight. I
love it. Catterall's obvious choice would be Teofimo Lopez, and that would seem to be an easy fight to make. Yeah. However, after Aram's whole thing last night, I think that may, take place in the U.S. I don't know, probably New York or something like that.
Yeah.
But I tell you, man, I love that fight. I can't tell you how much I like that fight. And I like the fight in the UK better than I like it here. Just my opinion, but I think that it's a better UK fight.
We talked about this earlier, and we've talked about this several times prior. I like the UK time zone, man. I like watching fights.
I love it.
I like watching fights at 6 o'clock as opposed to 12:30. How many times do we text each other? How many times we texted each other at like fucking 12 o'clock? Can we start this fucking thing before we fall asleep?
Right. Oh yeah.
Horrible.
I'll tell you what, man. But from Japan, the time zone from Japan, when they do those fights in the morning, I love those. And I love these UK, the Saudi and the UK main events is starting at 5 and 6. It's great. Because then you got sports on, like the soccer usually comes on about 7:30. You're watching that. You're watching basketball or whatever coming on later. It's awesome, man.
It is awesome.
You can't beat it.
No,
do you think the Catterall Teofimo fight comes off?
100%, without question.
Now, where does it come off?
New York.
That's a big thing, right?
New York.
Because Aram, especially after this, in Catterall, he ain't going back there. You know what I mean? He's not going to do that. So they're going to have to come here, I would think. And New York would probably be the most logical place for it.
Those fucking YouTube channels are such clickbaiters, because at the post-fight press conference, Eddie Hearn,
I sit here with the Josh Taylor robbed by judges title.
No, but think about this, Eric, right? So Eddie Hearn's at the press conference, and he's talking about the fights that are coming up in the junior welterweight division. And he mentioned Teofimo's upcoming fight. I forget Caglet or something. Caglet. And he says that fight's disgraceful. So you know what they title? You know what they titled the video? Eddie Hearn says Teofimo Lopez is a disgrace. He clearly did not say Teofimo. He said that the fight was a disgrace.
That's different than that's different.
Yeah. So again,
I mean, that's like he didn't say that. And how many times do you see? I see this all the time, And that's my thing with other video where, you'll see him say something that like so egregious. You're like, wait a minute, what? And you see that interview. I'm like, he didn't say that. He didn't say anything like that.
You want to hear another one?
Out of context.
You want to hear another one? So Anthony Joshua was at the Fury fight, and he's leaving at the end. At the end of it, right? He's walking out, and this reporter's like, "Yeah, what'd you think of the fight? What'd you think of the fight?" AJ just keeps walking because he wants to get the fuck out of there. It's late, whatever. He wants to go back to the. And then you know what they titled the video? AJ speechless after the Fury Usyk fight. No, he wasn't speechless. He just didn't want to fucking talk to you, asshole. It's like these people are ridiculous, bro.
That's really bad. That is really bad.
I mean, this title is at least satirical. These people are really serious when they make those dumb titles.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I don't know why you came up with that title because I was just like, that was so weird.
Lois, make sure you're writing all these things down that he's defaming me about, so I can bring this to him. Tuesday. Oh, that's right. Memorial Day. Then we're not open tomorrow. Okay.
They're not open tomorrow, babe.
We'll drive up on Tuesday. Don't worry, Lois.
You'll drive up on Tuesday. Usually they just have a Skype meeting with me, but I guess they have to.
Yeah, but I like to go face to face with them. I like to go face to face with them because that makes them know that I mean business. Makes them know that I mean business when I have a grievance.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they think too. All right. Who's it? Siobhan Clark versus Ellis Zorro. Clark wins on the undercard here. Clark wins via TKO over Zorro in the 8th. Patty Donovan stops Lewis Ritson in the 9th. Beeb, Lewis Ritson was fairly hyped for a while there. Not the same guy at all, man. Not the same guy at all anymore.
Yeah.
He's been dropped a couple pegs. The guy he fought was like 14-0, I think. He's coming up. And they put him in against Ritson, who's, listen, a veteran. He's got some good fights under his belt, but he's clearly on the slide.
Yeah, I enjoy watching Ritson fights a lot over the years. A lot of the domestic fights that he had over in the UK, being on those undercards. He's a very entertaining fighter, but you have to ask yourself at what point is it worth it anymore when you're taking punishment like this?
Yeah, because he was stopped. He was stopped in that fight. So it's like, is there really a use? I mean, do you really need to go on with this, man?
Yeah.
You need to operate on this. You love the sport. I get it. Maybe operate on it in a different capacity.
Yeah.
There's plenty of ways to participate in this.
Correct.
You don't have to get hit in the face. So
exactly.
Ryan Garcia is innocent until proven guilty. Isn't that what the test said? The test kind of outed him. I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit later. ESPN, Christian and Billy versus Mark Heffron. 40 seconds. 40.
No surprises here, right?
You could have made a commercial out of this fight. Like, who thought this was a good idea?
No surprises here.
No surprises here. This is on ESPN Plus. Arslanbek Makhmudov versus Mijan Rovacanin. Makhmudov wins via second round TKO. He's another good fighter, man. Where's Jalalov?
I haven't seen him in a while.
14-0. Where is he, man? Somebody needs to bring the monster out, man.
They gotta stop putting him on some of these Saudi cards, man.
That's what, and I believe he's probably fighting overseas is what's going on. And they need to start. Who's promoting this guy?
I'm not even 100% sure, to be honest.
Yeah, they need to get somebody out in front of it. Wow, you think about it, like, why haven't any of the big guys, like Top Rank or anybody, who promotes him?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Top Rank promotes him.
Okay.
The highly rated heavyweight contender from Uzbekistan is promoted by Top Rank.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure on that.
I wasn't either. I was like, what is he? He's not a big guy, and they're not doing anything with him.
Yeah. Very highly touted, man.
Oh, for sure. 14-0, 14 knockouts. Last one to win the gold medal in the Olympics. By the way, Olympics coming up in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
July? Yeah. Just about a few weeks out, man.
That's right.
That's my favorite. This is honestly my favorite time of year is the Summer Olympics. and the
You like-
boxing.
You like the Summer Olympics? Oh, because of the boxing, yes.
Because of the boxing, yeah.
That's-
and I don't watch a lot of other stuff, you know. Like I know a lot of people are big into track and field and stuff. I don't really care one way or the other. I watch the soccer, the World Soccer too. That's pretty cool.
Like the Taekwondo?
I don't ever see it. I don't ever see it. I do like wrestling. I do like the wrestling.
I like the wrestling too.
The wrestling is really good. The judo's pretty
Basketball.
good.
I like the
The
basketball.
judo's pretty good. So
Basketball.
what?
The basketball's fun too. You like the
Maybe.
basketball? No.
Nah, not really. I haven't liked the basketball since they put pros in. Because that dream team in, what is it, 1990 or whatever, when they put that dream team together, that was ridiculous.
That's right.
I mean, nobody can beat that team. You know, and all the U.S. teams that they put out there. Like, I liked it better because it meant more like when the college kids were in it and you had like those college all-stars. But everybody else was using pros too at that point. So I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. Who knows? But I do look forward to the boxing and I'm wondering any Americans, I wonder are any Americans going to win it this year, or if we got a lot of good prospects, or how it shakes out, man. The UK always seems to have one or two gold medalists in there, and we haven't had a gold medalist for a minute, man.
Yeah. That's true.
Andre Ward, wasn't it? Last one?
Oh, for us, for boxing? Yeah, I think it was Andre Ward. Yeah, it had that.
Andre Ward. Shakur Stevenson, man, was the only one that come close. Silver.
Yeah, he won the silver, yeah.
Yeah, and that fight was I'll tell you what, in that last round, that fight was up for grabs.
Yeah, he lost.
And that guy just did a little bit more than he did.
He lost.
You know?
Real basey.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was hoping, watching that fight, man, I'm hoping maybe they gave it to him, but that points and everything, and he couldn't come back, man. It was just
yeah.
Because it goes by shots. I don't think it's by judges anymore. It was just by shots.
Yeah. He needs a big fight too, man.
Stevenson?
Yeah, he really needs a big fight.
Yeah, I think he does too. It'll be interesting to see who he gets, So we'll see. Let's see here. Next week, June 1st, only one fight, only one card from Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia. This will be on DAZN pay-per-view, Beeb?
Pay-per-view, $70.
Pay-per-view.
So any of you guys want to donate to the Robert Herrick pay-per-view fund, feel free to give us the super chats. The money will go directly to Robert Herrick because he actually bought this pay-per-view as well, guys. We've already explained to you Robert's situation. I don't want to get too in depth with it because I don't want to,
You got yelled at last time. You got me.
I got yelled at last time. Yeah, I mean, I was on full authority to be able to say those things. I was given the clearance by Robert Herrick and Mrs. Herrick, both of them.
Mrs. Herrick.
I'm just trying to, I was told, can you help us out? And that's all I'm trying to do. So this money will go to the Robert Herrick pay-per-view fund if you are so gracious enough to donate. That's all.
There you go. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Deontay Wilder versus Zhilei Big Bang Zhang, 12 rounds heavyweights. That's a fun fight. It's just a
great fight. And I think Wilder has a shot.
And they're both coming off of losses.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
lost to the same guy. Lost to the same guy.
Yeah. It's just a fun fight. And I like that they put these on. And I like that these two agreed to it, Dimitri Bivol on the undercard, the co-main versus Malik Zanad, 12 rounds for Bivol's WBA light heavyweight title. I think that's going to be a showcase fight. I don't know too much about Zanad.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to bring a whole lot to beat Bivol, man. That's for sure. Daniel Dubois. Isn't that guy who quit against Joe Joyce?
You can't keep saying that, man.
I don't know. I'm asking
There is a statute of limitations. There's a statute of limitations.
I'm asking the questions.
Statute of limitations on that fight.
I do know that he quit against Joe Joyce, but I also know that he should have knocked out Alexander Usyk. That was a fair shot. That was a clean shot. Clean shot to the body. That was not low. That was a clean shot that knocked Usyk out. He should be heavyweight champion, but he's not, so it doesn't matter. Daniel Dubois versus Filip Urgovic, 12 rounds heavyweights. Raymond Ford versus Nick Ball, 12 rounds for Ford's WBA featherweight title.
I like that fight.
And those are good. I mean, they're all good fights. They're all decent fights, man. I like them all.
Emma Williams versus Asma Shabazz there. Shazma. I always pronounce that guy's wrong. I always pronounce that guy's name wrong. I feel embarrassed, but I love that guy. He's great.
Hamza Shiraz versus Austin Williams, 12 rounds middleweights, and then Willie Hutchinson versus Greg Richards to round out the card, 12 rounds light heavyweights. Yeah. And then the week after that, Beeb, that's the big one. That's the big one I think that everybody's waiting for. Probably the biggest fight of the summer. If I have to choose, I would say this is probably the biggest fight in the summer, coming up on June 7th with Adrian Broner versus Blair Cobbs.
Christ.
The Flair. Both of them, friend of the show. How do you choose? It's
easy. Blair,
I like Blair Cobbs. Blair Cobbs is a nice guy.
It's so easy to root against Adrian Broner.
Woo!
That guy
the Flair.
That's right.
I like Blair.
Let's try to get him back. Let's try to get him back on, man.
Yeah, he'll come back on. Why not? He's promoted by Don King now. You know, I mean,
gotta get him back on.
Things are grim. So Bronner's promoted by Don King now. Blair Cobbs is on Don King, and this card is looks like about 12 fights deep. The one in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow,
that'll be a pay-per-view as well, I'm sure. Yeah, it's going to be on King Vision because nobody's picking that up.
Who do you like in that Wilder Zhang fight?
Yeah, let's talk about that one for a minute, man. Wilder and Zhang, it's a tough one to call because he's still got his power. I got to lean towards Zhang, though. He's been more active. I think he's been more active. I think he's fought. Well, they both lost to Parker, so
I think Wilder's quicker. Both guys don't throw a lot of punches. I think Wilder's quicker. I think he's got faster feet. They're not like I said, they're not busy. But I think Wilder has a touch more power than Zhang, but Zhang's a little more crafty with his counter punching. This is a real tough one.
This is such a good fight.
But I do think at some point, because again, Zhang's not a big mover. He's got big, long torso. Wilder doesn't have to really go searching for Zhang. Zhang doesn't have a lot of head movement either. He's not going to be as mobile as Parker was. He's not going to be as compact as Parker was as well. Something tells me that Wilder's going to find a right hand in this fight. He's going to end it.
Okay, so I would bet definitely the under, whatever the under is.
Yeah.
I would bet that. What is the under on this?
I don't even know. I have to check.
Yeah.
I have to check. I have to take a look at that. But
yeah, I'd be real curious to see what the under is in that fight. Probably, what do you think, 6.5? It's 12 rounds, right?
12 rounds. I don't know. It can't be more than eight rounds and 9 rounds, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find that.
I am Dwayne says Bang beats Wilder. Listen, man, I can see that situation unfold too.
The odds are close here, but let me see.
Let's
pull this up, man. So we can see if we can get some prop bets here. All right, let's open this up. Okay. All right. I like the Raymond Ford Nick Ball. I actually think Nick Ball can pull that one off. I like the Emma Williams fight. I really like that one. Let me see here. This fucking website sucks sometimes, but yeah, it's a real tight fight.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. All sports, yeah. Boom.
Do you think Zhang has the power to knock out Wilder?
Yeah, he showed one punch knockout power against Joyce.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see what we got here. So Deontay Wilder is a plus 136. Zhang is a minus 166. Let's open up the more wagers here. Let's see what we can get here. Method of victory. Will the fight go the distance?
7.5. I'm reading in the chat. 7.5 is the over/under.
Method of victory. Deontay Wilder on points is a plus 1,200. Zhang on points is a plus 600. Deontay Wilder by KO is a plus 185. Zhang by KO is a plus 100.
Wow.
Will the fight go the distance? Group round betting. I don't see an over-under here for some reason. 3-way money line. Yeah, I don't see an over-under here. Let me see. Will the fight go the distance? Yeah, I don't see an over-under yet.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I like the knockout prop for Wilder.
Yeah, the knockout prop for Wilder is a really It's a good bet. It's a plus
Yeah.
185. So I may take that. Take that.
I may
and here's
take
another
that
thing. Here's another thing too. They say Wilder gets tired, but I think Zhang
gets tired too.
I think Zhang gets more tired.
Yeah.
And, I think if this fight goes into the second half, Wilder definitely has a shot to get a late round stoppage.
It's going to be like a tactical battle. Watch. We'll tune in for a fight. It'll be, that's how that always goes, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You turn it into a fight. There's going to be some tactical battle.
I don't see an over under here. Not on FanDuel. So I don't see an over under. But the smart money is saying that the fight will not go the distance. That's the thing. So I do not see that fight going the distance because both guys will be bombing away.
Oh, for sure.
Both guys, will be there to get hit, and there won't be a lot of movement from either guy. Neither guy will have to really go far to find the other one. So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any. Let's see. I'm looking at DraftKings now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an over under here.
Are you surprised that
I like Shabazz here by knockout. I like Craig Richards here. Who else? I actually think Dubois can pull off the upset versus Hrgovic.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, I like
Nick
Ball.
Real good fight.
The Nick Ball Raymond Ford fight's really close too. It's like I've never seen a card, Eric, where the odds are this close. Look, there's so many.
Good card.
Yeah, you got Nick.
Good card, man.
You got Nick Ball at a plus 125 versus Raymond Ford at a minus 155. Daniel Dubois is a plus 165. Flip Hrgovic is a minus 210. Shiraz is a minus 245. Emma Williams is a plus 195. Willie Hutchinson plus 115. Craig Richards minus 140. This is a razor close.
Every time I bet on Dubois, he screws me, so I wouldn't bet on Dubois. I'll just stay.
You're not gonna bet on Dubois?
No, because I think he'll win the fight.
Yeah,
but I'm not betting on him.
The reason why I like Dubois in this fight is Dubois is really good from long range. He's got a great jab, and Hrgovic needs to get close, and he's not the quickest guy on his feet.
Yep.
I think Dubois can pull this one off. I really do.
Yeah, and he's strong too. He's got a punch. YD says Bovada has it at 7.5.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
So if you can get the 7, if you can get that, I would take the under.
I would take the under. Yeah.
I would take the under, man, because I don't think I can't. This is just a fight I can't see going the distance.
Yeah. I may bet Dubois.
I wouldn't bet. He'll mess you up. I'm telling you, he'll screw you.
I mean, you got to forgive the guy, man. He had one.
Scorched earth.
You put him
done.
Just because you lost a big sum of money on the Joyce fight, you got to forgive him.
No. He quit the Joyce fight. He retired himself. He quit the Joyce fight.
Retinal bleeding. You got to give him a pass for that.
Big deal. Doesn't have a little retinal bleeding every now and then.
You
put some dirt on it. Get back in the game.
Can't expect this guy to go blind just for you.
Why not? Why?
Please.
You think I was the only one betting on him?
What kind of message you're sending to the public out there?
You sounded so concerned, like overly concerned.
Show some compassion.
What kind of message are you sending?
From Boston.
Show some compassion for once in your life.
Listen, if you guys like what we're doing and we're entertaining or somewhat entertaining to you, do me a favor and hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Just hit it. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's it. Hit the like button, guys. It helps us out. And it doesn't cost you anything.
It's free.
All right, let's get to the news and rumors here. The hot topic of this week be Garcia. Ryan King Rye got his B sample back. And yeah, it was dirty. So we figured it was. And if you guys don't know how to collect the samples, they pee in one cup, they divide the cup, so it's the same pee essentially. So if his A sample tested positive for it, pretty like 99.9% sure that the B sample is going to test positive because it's from the same specimen collection. Okay. So yeah, man. What do you do? What do you do? I mean, so Vada's the one that tested him. All right. VADA's the one that's tested him. So, you know, are there going to be any ramifications? VADA can't suspend him. So who was it? The WBC? Who brings VADA in? I guess let's start there. Who brings VADA into the situation? The commission doesn't bring him in, do they?
No.
Okay.
Fighters have to agree to it. It's something the promoters bring into it.
And they're paying for it as well. By the way, the fighters are paying for this as well.
I'm not sure how this works. I think this is part of the WBC clean boxing program. I'm not sure if the WBC partially pays for it, or if the fighters have to pay for it, or if the promoters pay for it.
Somebody's paying for it. It's the fighters. Because even if the promoter is paying for it, it passes itself along to the fighters. So they are paying for it.
I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
So again, the commission doesn't say, hey, VADA, come test these guys. No, nothing.
It's third party.
The commission, their party. The commission does their own drug testing at the time of the event, correct?
Correct.
In most instances, or in all instances. Whatever it's their commission, they can do whatever they want.
That's correct.
So he tests positive for VADA, right? For this what is it? Ostarine?
Ostarine, that's correct. Yeah.
Ostarine. And you clued me into this week. It's a SARM. It's not like it. And if you don't know anything about SARMs, go look them up. They're
selective androgen receptor modulator.
Right.
Synthetic. It's not even a steroid.
Right. And it's not for human consumption. Like if you go to these SARM sites and try to buy some SARMs, they will clearly tell you, hey, this is not for human consumption.
No.
They are but people take them. And a lot of people take them in lieu of taking steroids, which is if you're gonna take something that shouldn't be ingested, but why not just take steroids? I don't know, but whatever. All right. But listen, they go ahead and they get this done, and he takes this and he pops for it. Why? I don't understand. Why are we even testing for this? If number one, the commission, he passed the commission, right? The commission didn't test for it. So why is this? Why are we coming about? I don't understand this. Why is VADA even there? Because they're not testing anything. They're not. Essentially, they're not, because they could just tell you if he tested positive or he didn't test positive, and there are no ramifications from this.
Yeah, they report the results. They have a company called Claridium that does the collecting of the samples. So they don't even do like USADA. They have their own DCOs and BCOs that collect the samples. They have the USADA T-shirts on, or the polo shirts, whatever. They come to wherever they need to go to take but VADA's third party. Then they hire
those people make. I wonder how much those people make to sit there and like watch you pee.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Eric. VADA's third party that hires a third party collection agency to get to do the sample to collect the samples for them. Then the samples go to a WADA accredited lab where there's only two in the United States. There's one in Salt Lake City and one is in UCLA. It's in California, right? Los Angeles. So you have all these moving parts, whatever. And again, what is it? What exactly is an adverse finding? That's the thing. Like if you have such a small amount in your system the day of the fight, but you don't test positive on all the other tests prior to that, then we've had instances like this. USADA's reported it, where it's on their website that they have a warning that be careful that you could ingest ostarine through contamination through supplementation. Well, the supplement companies will say that they don't have it again, but the supplement companies have what's called production facilities where the supplements are created. So they don't. When you have something that's not FDA regulated, you don't know what the fuck's going. You don't know
exactly
what the fuck's
where
going
I was going. That's exactly because it's not regulated.
So again, you want to punish the guy. That's fine. But if the guy did not knowingly ingest it, if he had such a minuscule amount in his system that is well below the effective dose, and that's even if there is an effective dose, because there's no efficacy on this substance, because SARMs are kind of like trash. They're like kind of trash. They're trash PEDs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're going to sit there and say that the guy won the fight because he had a billionth of a gram of this in his system.
Is that what it is? That's what it truly that's a billionth of a gram?
And here's the thing. It's not like caffeine where you get an acute benefit from taking this. This is something you have to take over time at a specific recommended dose, and it stays in your system for up to 10 days, sometimes up to 2 weeks. So again, this would have had to have been something he took the day of the fight, whether it could have been any type of supplement, whether it have been his ashwagandha, his omega-3s, anything.
What's the half-life of the product? Do we know?
Well, again, if it stays in your system for 10 to 14 days, when you say half-life, that means like how long an effective dose may stay in your system. I don't think there's any really data on that, to be quite honest with you. So this a similar instance happened with Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
Where it was determined, because he had a similar amount in his system, and it was determined that it was through a tainted supplement. They gave him a post-dated 6-month suspension. Now, again, this gets really blown out of proportion because, he cheated. He was taking this. This is not something that an athlete would take. This is not something that would enhance a boxer's performance, number one. Number two, this is not something that anyone would recommend a boxer to take to help him win a fight. That's number.
It's just
that's
for
number
like
two.
weight cutting, right?
There's not even any evidence to suggest that it works with that either. It's supposed to, theoretically, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to help you with maintaining lean muscle mass as you're exercising and cutting weight and losing fat. So when you lose fat, naturally you lose muscle at the same time. This is supposedly supposed to help with the loss of muscle due to loss of fat and through training and losing weight or through exercise. But once again, the guy came overweight and he had a billionth of a gram in his system. And if he was taking it at the recommended effective dose, and if he was taking it the way it's supposed to be taken, he would have tested positive prior to this, and he would have had a substantially higher amount of it in his system. Once again, like Sean O'Malley, there was a 14-year-old girl that tested positive for this, and it was determined that it was in her supplements. She got her protein powder and her pre-workout tested, and it was in both of those products. And the supplement supplier that sold her those supplements didn't even know, because of the manufacturing facility where those products got made. That's where the contamination took place. So when you own a supplement company, you also have a place where your supplements are being created, right? So whatever goes on in those production facilities, you have no idea about it. So this whole thing about anyone should know, you could go to a juice bar at a gym, drink a protein shake. That protein powder could be contaminated with ostarine. You have no fucking idea, right? So again, it is what it is. This pretty consistent when you look at this in comparison to other cases. It most likely came from a contaminated supplement, and the amount in the system really couldn't have done anything. So let's just keep it the way it is. If you say, okay, he's responsible for it being in his system, then you give him a post-dated 6-month suspension. It's like a traffic violation. Do you treat someone going 5 miles over the speed limit the same way you would treat a DUI?
Right.
No. So let the punishment fit the crime, and let's just classify this for what it is, and let's just kind of give a balanced reporting of this, and let's just look at it objectively instead of like, oh, Ryan's a cheater, Ryan's this, Ryan's that. Okay, the guy says a lot of stupid things. That doesn't mean he knowingly fucking ingested ostarine and tried to cheat in this fight.
Dwayne says, do we have any evidence that Ryan's contamination came from a supplement? Other than no, but the trace amounts found would indicate that that's the most likely source.
But he's also getting his supplements tested, and he also has a legal team helping him out with this, and they're investigating it. So why can't we allow the investigative process take place? Let the investigation take place. Let it play out. Let him have his hearing, and then whatever gets determined, then we can make our judgment based off of that. Why is he guilty? When you say it makes it okay, what do you mean by makes it okay? Again, like, why are we sensationalizing this? He had a billionth of a gram in his system through contamination, most likely. That most certainly did not give him any benefit during the fight. So what are you concerned about, Juan? What is the problem here? Is it like what are we doing? What is this up in arms about? This guy cheated. He could have killed Devin Haney. This is the only reason why he won the fight. What are we like? We're reaching. We're just reaching for things here.
Yeah. Well, and I've watched documentaries on the supplement industry and everything like that before. And you're right. They'll make them off site somewhere. But I tell you what, a lot of them, when they first start out, they're starting out in their kitchen. It's not like, if you decided to make cookies out of your kitchen and go sell those, you need permits for that. You can't just do that. You got to have people inspect it. It's got to be a clean area. The kitchen's got to be for,
I used to work
everything, man.
I used to work for Whole Foods Market. And there was a time during my training where they said, okay, we need you to go to work in the commissary for 2 weeks. And the commissary was producing an exorbitant amount of product, right? And it was sending food to all of the Whole Foods markets in the Massachusetts area.
Yep.
So they would have the state FDA regulators come in once a day to inspect that because of how much food we were producing in that facility, and because of how many facilities we were distributing the food to. So we were under strict regulation. These supplement companies are not under any regulation. There is no FDA regulation. So there's no way of knowing. And the whole problem with Victor Conte lying or misleading or sensationalizing, saying, well, the only way a fighter can get contaminated with ostarine is if it was created in an underground lab, and the steroids that were being created in that underground lab Conte's
a moron.
It was contaminated with ostarine through steroid manufacturing or production, and that's the only way that an athlete can get contaminated with ostarine. No, you can get it through supplements too, Victor Conte. You don't have to be taking steroids. And he knows this, but he won't say it.
Right. HLD, thank you so much, my friend. He said the Haneys have made ostarine the #1 selling PED in America, claiming just a single dosage of 0.00006 makes you superhuman. There you go.
That's it.
Yeah. And I get it. I get where Haney's coming from. I understand.
Again, he doesn't know. He's being fed. He's being manipulated and fed this information from Conte, who he works with. He's a snack athlete. So again, Conte knows that you can get this through supplement contamination, and you don't just get it from an underground lab that's making steroids and exogenous testosterone. He knows this, but he's not going to say it. But he so conveniently said it when one of his fighters, Andre Berto, tested positive for nandrolone. Oh, well, the trace amounts, most likely from contamination.
Right.
Why isn't this in Conor Ben's?
Because it's his fighter.
Exactly. So again, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, because it's his fighter,
It's just,
and like I said, man, and I, watching that documentary, they clean out the vats, but they don't clean the vat. They'll wipe them out. A lot of times they said they'll wipe them out and then put new stuff in it. It's not, you cannot trust it. You can't trust it. And that's why they ask for that list of supplements you're taking, and you gotta fess up because you never know.
You know what's funny too, Eric? It's been proven that Canelo Alvarez was tested positive for clenbuterol through contamination. They even changed the WADA protocol in regards to clenbuterol because of Canelo and because of all the other Mexican athletes that had tested positive, the soccer players and all of the other fighters, because of the contaminated meat that it's been known to have in Mexico. So that's why they have an allowable limit. And if Canelo tested for that amount today, he would not flag it as a positive test, right? So to this day, even with all that information coming up that cleared Canelo for not knowingly taking clenbuterol or not knowingly ingesting it in his system, I'm on Twitter today and I'm talking to someone about something. and someone says, "Oh, Canelo," so he'll never shake that. Once you shame somebody. So this is why, like USADA, before they release the tests, UCAD before they release the tests to people, they'll do an investigation to make sure why and how it got there before they fucking already smear somebody. So Conti's out there smearing all of the fighters, shaming fighters who won't take part in the VADA testing. How is this making the sport better? I just don't see it.
I don't either. I really don't. I don't see it. You got this great company, and I think VADA is a good company. I really do.
I don't have a problem with them. I mean,
right? They test. That's all they do.
I just don't know why they allow Victor Conti to be their spokesman, and I don't know why they allowed him to devise come up with their fucking protocol that's different from the WADA protocol. But again, I mean, they have the right to do that if they want. It is what it is. They have to deal with that.
Yeah, HLD said he thinks the NYSAC is getting involved. They are. They'll come in for the commission. There's going to be a hearing on it or whatever. But
figure it out. They'll figure it out.
You kind of wonder what's going to happen. I know that Haney wants that decision reversed or just changed to a no contest or whatever the case. I don't know that that'll be the case.
I don't think that's going to happen, Eric. Not with the amount.
I don't think I'm with you. Yeah.
Not with the amount that was in his system. They can't. They have to prove. There's no scientific data to prove that gave Ryan Garcia a performance enhancement. It's just not enough. And you can't take it the day of the fight and automatically, like, this is something that you're supposed to take over time in order to get a benefit from it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is he tested 11 days before the fight and his test came out clean. Now, after the fight, it came out with, the billionth of a percent or whatever it was that for this Austrian or whatever. But again, that's why I say we should talk about the half-life. This is, how long does it stay in your system? We don't know. That's something I don't know.
They say anywhere from 10 to 14 days, depending upon the
so the 10th day, is it plausible on the 10th day when they tested him or the 11th day when they tested him that drug was on its way out? I don't know.
No, because it's not gonna go in and out that quickly, and it's gonna be,
because it would have been 10 days. That's the point.
If you're taking let's just say you took the most minimalistic dose, 3 milligrams, Eric. Right. You took 3 milligrams 10 days before the fight.
And would that have helped you? That's the other thing. Would it have helped you?
That's number one. Excellent point. Right. I wasn't even going to go there, but that's number one. Number two, you're not going to have a billionth of a gram in your system if you took a 3 milligram tablet. The science just clearly
you go. I mean, that's the thing.
Clearly debunks that.
Yeah.
It's scientifically impossible to only have a billionth of a gram if you took that knowingly at the most minimalistic dose, which is 3 milligrams, which fighters would not do. They would normally take 15 to 30 milligrams for an effective dose. So that even if you took 3 milligrams, you would still have way more than a billionth of a gram in your system.
You would think, but again, and how much is actually known about this? How much is actually known? There's no
efficacy.
Right. And again, the SARMs, they tell you, maybe they work, maybe they don't. It's all up to your individual makeup. You know what I mean? Whether it works or not. It's not like taking, like, say, Deca. Deca works.
Correct.
I mean, it's just, you're going to
steroids. The steroids
do what you do, and you're going to get bigger.
You know why the steroids work, Eric? Because they were originally created, most of them, for medicinal purposes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Deca was created. Was created to help AIDS patients, when they lost weight.
Put on weight and stuff like that. Yeah.
Clenbuterol was made. Clenbuterol is not an anabolic steroid. It's a bronchodilator. It was actually created for asthma, not for performance enhancement.
Right.
So again, like, there's no use for Ostarine. It's just some cockamamie thing that someone thought up that. Like a lot of these products online, these testosterone boosters, where there's no, we'll increase your testosterone 575%, where there's no science to back that up.
Yeah, the only way you can increase your testosterone is to go to a TRT clinic, get the injections, or if they give you a pill
Absolutely.
or the cream or whatever. That's
Absolutely.
it. Although,
Absolutely.
that Frank Thomas, that former baseball player who goes up there and says, oh, yeah, blah, 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 this would really increase. It doesn't. It doesn't do a thing. It doesn't even move it.
Just because you get a hard on doesn't mean you're increasing your testosterone, Frank.
No.
Sorry.
There you go. What's the matter with you? Now we're going to have HR coming down on us again. What's the matter with you?
You already dug the hole. I'm just filling it.
I dug the hole.
You started the whole thing with this ridiculous title, but go ahead. There's no turning back now. The show's in shambles already.
Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora is just about set. What are they looking for? July, I think? Was that what I read? Or August?
I thought it was October.
Was it?
I was hearing October, yeah.
ESPN. Let me look it up real quick. Because
October.
my man Coppinger, my man Coppinger did,
Guy's horrible.
He got us, he gets us, man. And I heard it was going to take place in Cowboy Stadium or something like that. That's what they're looking at. Now I can't find it. All right, here we go. October, you're right. Agrees to an October fight. So it'll be sometime in October. It's going to be on Prime Video pay-per-view at AT&T Stadium if it's finalized. Does fit in the Cowboys' home schedule. So,
and they're saying he's going to get stripped of the WBO title. Crawford and Madrimov were supposed to fight for the interim WBO title. Now, since this fight's happening, and they most likely won't be fighting Crawford after the winner, most likely won't be fighting Crawford next. I'm wondering if they'll elevate that interim WBO title to full WBO title to go along with I think Madrimov's got the WBA title, if I'm not mistaken.
I would imagine, yeah.
So it would be nice if they would, if Crawford or even Madrimov could get the two birds with one stone.
So what belt does Fundora have?
WBC
and
the WBO.
So they'll strip the WBO and then Spence.
And we'll just fight for the WBC. Yeah.
Do you think Spence wins that fight?
D-Style says yes. I don't think so.
He should.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even think Spence can make 154 comfortably, in my opinion. And I don't like how big he looks even now. He looks like he's like 190 right now. That beating that he took, that hard living.
Not to mention that accident.
Yeah, and the accident. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong, but I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Well,
I tell you what, I Am Your Leader says Spence is shot. I tell you what, this fight will tell you. This fight should be will tell you a lot about what you need to know about Spence's.
We talked about Tyson Fury and the hard living and him possibly hitting the wall and this and that. But when you look at Tyson Fury and you see how he carries himself and the way he talks, and he seems like he's still with it, whatever. He seems sharp as attack, and he looked great in that fight against Usyk, in my opinion. I don't know what anyone else thinks. I think he looked great in that fight. But Spence, the way he moves, the way he talks, looks like something's, and I hate saying this, he's just not the same. He's just not the same. And even that week leading up to that Crawford fight, he just did not. I said it. You heard me say it. There's something wrong with this guy. He doesn't look good. I'm worried. I said it. And I'm still seeing him. His speech seems to be a little slower. I'm concerned, man. I'm legitimately, generally concerned.
Well, and listen, man, they're throwing all this money at him. He's going to fight in Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
Fundora isn't the toughest guy out there. Let's put it that way.
It's not an impossible task, but
I thought he was getting, before that cut happened, I thought Zoo was on track for,
Zoo looked like he was on track. Yeah. And here's the thing. You win a split decision on a guy that virtually can't even see. But then the argument can be, well, your nose is pretty much banged up. But I don't know. Would you rather have had Zoo's injury or would you have rather had Fundora's injury? I don't know.
I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty clear who you would have had,
Yeah, because you can't, the amount of blood that was going into Zoo's face was just crazy.
I Am Dwayne says Spence is done. He's already talking about retirement. They might be cashing him out.
Maybe so.
I think he beats Fundora. I do. But I think the key is going to be how he looks in that fight.
Yeah, I'm picking. I'm actually picking Fundora in that fight.
Wow.
I'm picking Fundora in that fight, and I would not be surprised if he stopped him either.
Wow. That's a big statement. So you think he is shot? You think he's shot?
I don't even want to use that word, but I want to say he's definitely compromised.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I think he's compromised.
And see, I didn't think he was compromised in the Bud fight. I thought that Bud was just a better fighter, man.
Yeah, Bud was always a better fighter, but was he that? Like, let me ask you this. Look at Bud's performance against Sean Porter. Look how competitive that was as long as it lasted.
Yeah.
And then just look at
that was a clear Bud fight, though. That it wasn't. I mean, it was competitive. Don't get me wrong, but clearly, even without that knockdown, he was.
Before that round, before those knockdowns, I had Crawford up by a point going into Yeah, I thought it was a razor close fight.
I wonder if I have that. Hold on.
I had that fight very close.
Let me see if I got it here. Crawford.
Let me see what I always like looking at
Crawford. How did I have it? 79. Yeah, I had Crawford way ahead. But we were talking about, no, I sure don't. God darn it. That's an old one. So
the average fans. Okay, let me go back to this. I want to see Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter. I want to see what the average fan scorecard was that. So the average fan scorecard had, the average fan scorecard up into the ninth round had Crawford up 86-85. So I had it 5 rounds to 4. Two of the judges had it 5 rounds to 4, and one judge had 6
and that was in the
rounds
10th round, right? In the 10th round. Yeah.
So without that 10th round, going into that 10th round, Porter was only down by a point.
Yeah.
So again, I thought Crawford would beat Spence. I always believed that. But never in my wildest dreams did I envision it being that one-sided. I don't think anyone did.
Completely one-sided.
And I hate doing this because I don't want to take away from Terrence Crawford. But I have to say that part of the reason why, at least in my opinion, why that fight was so one-sided was because of all those other factors we just discussed in regards to Spence. And again, that's totally an opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. Yeah. It's an opinion.
Yeah, there you go, man. All right, guys. Also, too, Joe Joyce and Derek Chisora is set for July 2nd. I mean, I've seen Derek. Why is Derek Chisora still? I don't know. But both guys are fighting. Both guys. You're just a guy with a local 22 jacket,
I'm just a guy with a local 22 jacket trying to make a living.
There you go. Go. D-Style, thank you so much. He says Wilder knockout in 2. I don't hate it. I think that fight's going to end quick, man. What is that, Liuna? What is that?
Liuna.
Oh, the Labor International Union of North America. There you go.
Just trying to make a living, man. Just like Joe Joyce, I'm trying to make a living. Derek Chisora trying to make a living, man.
I am your leader says, how are people picking the Wilder after the Parker fight is beyond stupid? Because it's 2 different fighters, man. It's not like
here we go again. And then if Wilder wins by knockout, I told you.
I knew it. I knew. There's so many Monday morning quarterbacks, or Sunday morning quarterbacks. There you go. That'll do it, guys, for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com, and you can find me on X at ringside73. Guys, hopefully we have the phones working next week, and we will see you next week.